I would go there. It's a referral. So not to go back to the network, but a lot of times it's what you hear from others, right? But it's
Yeah.
also, and maybe not helpful, but what their activity is on LinkedIn, other things. It's not just the resume. So you can look at the resume, but then I want to see who you are a little bit more. I'll look you up on LinkedIn. I'll see what you've done. I'll see where your activity is. And then, of course, in an interview, once you get to the interview stage, I think it depends on how you show up and then how you follow up afterwards. All of those things to me are pretty key, just from an interaction standpoint, and showing that you really are genuinely interested in the role and you've done your research. So, have you done your research about the organization? Have you done your research about me? Have you looked at my LinkedIn? Are you asking the right questions for our organization, not the general questions that you might be able to Google or AI gives you, but talk about it from our organization and what we've talked about and where we're trying to drive to. I think all of those things make you stand out. You want to not be just general.
In the
Yeah.
interview process, assuming they're virtual, yeah, how important is background? How important is what they're wearing? Like things like that.
I think it depends on how you show up, right? So if you've got people walking behind you, or like sometimes my cat chooses to do parkour when I'm in a meeting. So if I was interviewing, I call it parkour, I'd lock her out, right? So we're not going to have that going on. You need to
Sure.
not be distracted. I will go back to my child who was a high schooler during COVID, and I swear he looked like he had this darkness around him because he always had the light at his back. You need to do some of the basic things on have the right lighting, make sure that you're clear, be on time. I had somebody show
Hmm.
up and was like 10 minutes late, and I sat there, and then her internet died, and she was like my top candidate until that happened, and then I was like, ooh, let me think about this a little bit more.
Sure.
So I do think all of that matters.
Okay.
I agree. I think putting your best foot forward, no matter what level of job it is, dressing for success, having the right background. There, we have a story I tell every candidate. When you're on Zoom, make sure whatever's in your background is not too busy, acceptable. There's this one story where a gentleman had a beautiful office, had a beautiful live edge shelf behind him, probably some pictures, and a very expensive bottle of booze that he was probably really excited about. It's probably one that he hasn't opened, right, ever. And it's probably hundreds and hundreds of dollars. But the employer saw it, ended the interview, and proceeded to reject him and would not even go forward with the interview. That's a joke that I tell any candidate. Do not, don't put booze behind you.